Okay, this kind of walked away from me. It's not exactly what I planned, but it's close. I'm doing some special different things or similar things for If Then in November. Last year I did Thanksgiving, so please go check those out if you haven't checked those out. Thanksgiving cozies, contemporary romances, Thanksgiving. I went bonkers on Thanksgiving, so please check all those out from last year. I have over 2,000 videos out there. Please go watch some of them. We did all of J.D. Robb, all of Janet Ivanovich, all of Carolyn Sparks, all of Lindsay Sands, all of Alex Cross, all of the Women's Murder Club, all of Catherine Coulter's FBI series. Go check those out. They're out there. So anyways, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina K-R-I-S-T-I-N-A. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no genius, none of that fancy man stuff going on here. So anyways, don't criticize, but I went for, and I was specifically looking for, and I'm telling you those search engines suck. Huge, big time suck. So, instead of going through all of those search engines, would you do me a big, huge favor? Come to me first. D. Louise book series If Then. This is If Then 90-something. If you're looking for forensics, if you're looking for homicide, you're looking for vampires, werewolves, forensics, homicides, Native American authors, black authors, lawyers, detectives, men in kilts, pirates that make you swoon, regencies, Bridgertons versus Mallorys. They're all out there. Like I said, I'm on my 90-somethings video for If Then. And this is If Then 90. I'll have to look it up when I do it. Wait a second. This is If Then 87. If Then 87. But there are more. Because I screwed up in the initial counting. So there's like an additional 10 out there. And when I realized the numbering was off, I said screw it and didn't go back and redo any of those. So then there's probably close to 100 out there. But anyways, this will be officially If Then 87. I'm looking for amateur sleuths who work with cops. And we did some couples. Partners in crime last week. We may do a few more next week. Oh, I know what I'm doing. Okay, I forgot what I was doing. Now I know what I'm doing. But this is amateur sleuths who works with the detective or cop or sheriff deputy. I might get one more. But she's not. No, she's not. Well. Oh shoot! Hold on a second. Oh, my nose. So, anyways, there was a couple more, and then I put them for a different week. So these are amateur sleuths. Now, this first one, and most of these, alright. So this one, I'm gonna put a picture up. Excuse me. The American in Scotland. The doctor, she's leaving her job, and she wants to settle down and have a quiet time, and these people offer her a house, and everything's set up in the house for medical, and people will come to her house, and she ends up investigating murders, and the other person he's a cop, but they call him the Laird, Ewan Campbell. Just a second, my nose. All of a sudden, it was fine all day. So, an American in Scotland. See, I was supposed to be the fresh start for Dr. Amelia McCoy, dreamed of far from the busy emergency room across the Atlantic in Seattle. She hoped to settle down and begin this new chapter as a small-town doctor to the quirky residents who immediately welcomed her. When she stumbles across a dead body, she starts to think that she may not be as scot-free of the drama and intrigue as she initially thought. If I remember, and if I don't remember, remind me to put the link in the description of my review of this book. Amelia soon learns that she's bigger issues at hand. It starts with realizing she'll work closely with less than helpful local constable Laird Ewan Campbell. Her luck continues when she discovers that part of her new responsibilities include being the coroner for the very body she found. Oh yeah, then somebody disappears with it. Smo, come here. Come here. Alright. Murder by the Book. Now, we know we just read this the other day, and you just saw the review for this a little while ago. And we'll put it up here, Murder by the Book. She works with Mark the first book or so, but then in a romantic situation, she calls Mark David. Mark gets bent and leaves, and he goes away for 3 months, and when he comes back, he's got a new girlfriend who he spent time with in Paris. How close do you have to be to the new girlfriend to spend time in Paris? Huh? Murder by the Book. Addie left some painful memories behind in the big city, including the unsolved murder of her fiancé and her father's fatal car accident. After an unexpected inheritance from a great aunt, she moved into a small town founded by her ancestors back in colonial times and living in spacious Greybourne Manor on a hilltop overlooking the harbor. Best of all, her aunt also left her countless first editions and other treasures, providing an inventory to start her own store. And, of course, there's a lot of stuff with the dead body, and her Serena is a little two-faced in the first couple books, and her and the Mark situation. Later on, she works with Simon, the coroner, but in the first couple books, it is Mark, the cop, so that kind of worked. Yes, ma'am. What? What? Alright. Next book. Now, technically, she's an amateur when the series starts. Okay? But she later gets her PI license and opens up an investigation. So we will include this in people that work with partners. Or, two detectives working together, or two cops working together situation. But they're amateurs to start, and then they form their own detective agency. And they do work with the local sheriff, too. And they go through a couple of sheriffs. And the second local sheriff becomes a love interest for her. What? You're like, up, down, up, down, up, down. I guess I should still do this, but, she is an amateur when the series starts. So, them bones. No self-respecting lady would allow herself to end up in Sarah Booth's situation. Unwed, unemployed, and over 30, she's flat broke and about to lose the family plantation. Not to mention being haunted by the ghost of her great-aunt-grandmother, Nanny, who never misses an opportunity to remind her of her sorry state. Zitty, Jitty, something like that. If you, last year, or just go Dealey's book series, If Then Ghosts, and I was looking for an amateur sleuth who worked with a ghost as a partner. And this was one of the ones that worked with a ghost as a partner. Well, she wasn't an equal partner. Ginny really doesn't do anything except drop hints, vague hints about stuff, and bug her to get married. Alright, next. The Book Club Murders. The Oak Book Club Murders Mystery Series. This will be in my book club if then. I'm gonna do a book club if then. So look for that in a couple of weeks. Spoiler! Charlie Carpenter has poured heart and soul into her clothing store, old hat, vintage fashions. She'll do anything to make it a success, even join the Agatha's Book Club in order to cultivate customers along the wealthy elite. Where's my sheet? Here it is. Alright. Although mixing with the most influential woman in town has its advantages, Charlie finds the endless group a high price to pay, but after two women with close ties to Agatha are brutally murdered, everyone falls under threat and suspicion. When key evidence indicates both murders are the work of the same hand, Charlie realizes that the killer has arranged each corpse in perfect imitation of crime scenes from the club's murder mystery reading list. She uses her membership in the club to convince Detective Marcus Trenbolt to use her as an inside informant, not that he could stop her anyway. Alright. Murder on the Rocks. Mac's Bar is one of those nice, friendly places where everybody knows your name. That's great when someone's buying you around, but not so hot when you find yourself at the top of a murder suspect list with your fingerprints on the bloody knife. Why does everybody, you see the body on the floor, you see the knife sticking out of them, and you go and you pull it out? You're an idiot! Don't touch the knife! Mac, and this is, I might mention this again, but we're going to do Maddie Day. And I should have included her in this. Alright. I wonder why I didn't. I have to go find her. But she's also a Mackenzie. And they call her Mac for the bike shop. I should go pull that one. Dalton is a Milwaukee bar owner with a nose for trouble. Literally, neurological glitch has left her with the extra perceptive senses. So when she stumbles upon a dead body in the alley behind the bar, the same spot where her own father was shot 8 months earlier, she can tell right away there's something fishy in the air. The lead detective thinks there's a link between the two deaths, and he'll need Mac's help to sniff out the Amity, the eccentric of the bar regulars. But when all the evidence points to her, the most likely culprit could be an early last call from Mac. And she works with the detective. This one, we might be doing this series. I'm looking into it. Crime and Poetry, Amanda Flowers. Rushing home to sit by her ailing grandmother's bedside, Violet Waverly is shocked to find Grandma Daisy the picture-perfect health. Violet doesn't need to read between the lines. Her grandma wants Violet back home and working in her magical store. Charming Books is where the perfect books tend to fly off the shelf and pick you. Violet has every intention to hightail it back to Chicago, but when a dead man is discovered clutching a volume of Emily Dickinson poems from Grandma Daisy's shop, the victim, Benedict Raisin, who recently put Grandma Daisy in his will, making her the prime suspect. Now, with the help of a tuxedo cat named Emerson, Violet will have to find the killer to keep Grandma safe. And she works with... I didn't write it down. Oh, I'm an idiot. The whole cat and caboodle. How about a little hooked on a feeling? Well, let's do this. The whole cat and caboodle. Sarah Grayson is the happy proprietor of Second Chance, a charming shop in the ocean town of Harbor, Maine. At the shop, she sells items she lovingly refurbishes and repurposes. But her favorite pet project so far has been adopting a stray cat named Elvis. Elvis has seen 9 lives and then some. The black cat with a scar across his nose turned up at the local bar when the band was playing the king of rock and roll music and hoped Sarah's hopped in Sarah's truck. Since then, he's been her constant companion and furry favorite of everyone who's come into the store. But when Sarah's elderly friend Maddie is found with the body of a dead man in her garden, the kindly old lady becomes the prime suspect. Even Sarah's old high school friend, investigator Nick Elliott, seems convinced that Maddie was up to no good. So it's up to Sarah and Elvis to clear her friend's name. Sticks and Scones. It's late spring in Juliet's charming hamlet of Ashland. Spotted deer are nibbling on lush green grasses in Lisa Park of Japanese maples are blooming, and Tort is a baking beverage of delight. Lemon curd cupcakes, mini coconut cream pies, grapefruit tartlets, and chocolate-dipped almond tullies. Meanwhile, Juliet's friend Lance, the artistic director of Oregon Shakespeare Festival, is taking center stage with his new theater troupe, the Fair Verona Players. Their performance in Onya's Vineyard promises to be a modern gender-bending twist, the taming of the shrew, but as the curtain rises, so do strange occurrences, strange mishaps, and internal bickering threaten to derail the production, but the real show begins when the leading actor Jimmy Paxton meets his final curtain call. Let me see something. Juliet Capshaw works with Detective Thomas in that one. My nose again. Jesus. This is going to show up in a couple of different ones too, because it qualifies for a couple of different ones. Darcy Wilde, a useful woman. She works with Bow Street, and she ends up falling in love with Bow Street. The daughter of a baronet and minor heiress, Rosalind Thorne, was nearly ruined after her father abandoned the family. To survive the only world she knew, she began to manage the affairs of some London society's most influential women who have come to rely on her wit and discretion. So when aristocratic wastrel Jasper Amesworth is found dead in London's most exclusive ballroom, Almack's, Rosalind must use her skills and connections to uncover the killer from a list of suspects includes Almack's most powerful patroness and her former suitor, Devin Winterbourne. And I hoped for a while there that she and the Duke would get together and she could investigate as a Duchess, because no one would tell a Duchess no, what she couldn't do. But the author decided that she was going to get up close and friendly with the Bow Street Runner instead. So that's what happened there. Please go check out all my reviews for those. All my book reviews on that. Alright. The Body on the Bayou. And she works with Detective Beau Durand. The Crozettes feared the past murderers at the Crozette Plantation might spell the death of their beloved estate, but they've managed to survive the scandal. Now there's a Trey's bigger story in Pelican, Louisiana. The upcoming nuptials between Maggie Crozette's nemesis, Police Chief Rufus Durand, and her co-workers, Vanessa Fleer. When everyone else refuses the job of being Vanessa's maid of honor, Maggie reluctantly takes up the title and finds herself tasked with a long list of duties, the most important of which is entertaining Vanessa's cousin, Ginger Fleer Stark. But just days before the wedding, Ginger's lifeless body is found on the Bayou, and the Pelican PD, as well as the Crozettes, have another murder mystery on their hands. There's a gumbo pot full of suspects, including ex-Marine with PTSD, an annoying local newspaper reporter, and Vanessa's own spark plug of a mother. But when it looks like the investigation is zeroing on Vanessa as a prime suspect, Maggie reluctantly adds keeping the bride-to-be out of jail on her list of maid of honor responsibilities. What did I pick this up for? Oh, that's going to be for the retail. Sophie Kelly, Pause to Remember. Did I do this one already? I did, right? No. Why did I? Okay. So, pause to remember. And she works with Detective Marcus Gordon. When a water leak repair results in a body being found behind the walls of the store run by artist co-op that Kathleen's friend Maggie is part of, everyone is completely mystified as to whose body it is and who hid it there. But as dust settling, Kathleen's fiancé, Detective Marcus Gordon, begins to suspect that the body could belong to a young woman who disappeared more than 30 years ago. Then a friend with connections to the young woman asks Kathleen to look into the circumstances surrounding the disappearance, and she and her cats have a special feline talent for catching felons. This is probably one of my Christmas thing too. Sheriff Jacob Troy. Bailey King works with Sheriff Jacob Troy. That's your thing. Thanksgiving is Bailey King's busiest holiday. This year promises to be even more hectic since Bailey Candy Shop Swiss Sweets is providing desserts for harvest, Ohio's first village-wide Thanksgiving celebration. Yet even with a guest list that close to 700 people, Amish and English alike, the event's organizer Margaret Rawlings is unfazed until she discovers her mother, former judge Sarah Brevin, will be in attendance. Sarah's reputation as a harsh critic is matched only by her infamy as a judge who has actively harmed the Amish community. So no one is prepared when Zara arrives with much younger boyfriend Blaze Smith and reveals their impending nuptials at dinner. That should have been the day's biggest news, except shortly thereafter, the announcement Blaze suffers an allergic reaction to something he's eaten and dies on the spot. I remember reading this. I don't have to check and see if I did a review, but I remember reading this. I've also read this one. Tess works with Detective Gabriel Gonzalez. Now that Tess's divorce is final, the blessed place for her and Gertie to heal and reconnect is the rustic cabin in the woods that Tess inherited from her late grandmother. Between the beautiful pond on the property, the majestic mountain views, and the peaceful forest, it should be a relaxing getaway, but they've barely made it through the door when an explosion shakes the cabin, and suddenly the raining fish parts. And is that a human arm? Tess was hardly convincing Garrett that a summer without Wi-Fi and running water would be an adventure. Now she's thrust into a murder investigation. Neighbors are saying they spotted Bigfoot in the woods near her cabin, and to top it off, the local sheriff is spitting image after the famous character Detective Gonzalez something. He's less than thrilled about, with so much more than her daughter's summer plans at stake. It's up to Tess to put her crime writing skills to the test and solve the murder. And oops. Now she works with she doesn't she works mostly by her own, and this will be included in a group one later. And this isn't the first one, it's one of the earlier ones though, but this is one of the ones that I had. Meg Langslow, she ends up calling in the chief all the time for help, and her dad and a grandfather, and the brother is does the forensics, the analysis on all the stuff, the crime scene, CSI type stuff he does. So I just picked this up. Meg Langzo, eccentric parents have a new hobby, growing roses and entering them in a highly competitive show. Dad's garden skill and mother's gift for selecting and arranging the blossoms should make them an unbeatable team. And Meg is relieved that they've taken up such a safe, gentle hobby, even volunteering to help when the Carphilly Garden Club sponsors the first annual rose show. But after a few hours of dealing with her parents' competitors, Meg sees trouble. Roses are cut so that they will do nearly anything to win the Black Swan trophy, making them all prime suspects when Meg discovers that someone is attempting to kill the wealthy woman on whose estate the competition is being held. I remember this. As the series goes on, Meg adds more and more family members and professionals, by the way, to help her out solve crime. I picked this one up. In the beginning, she works with a cop. In the first few some odd books, she works with the cop, falls in love with the cop, may or may not get engaged to the cop. And then he turns really dirty. And that's the end of that. But this is one of the earlier ones. Murder is Binding. I can't wait for the new one's coming out soon. When she moved to Stoneham, city slicker Trisha Miles and was met with friendly faces. And when she opened her mystery bookstore, she was met with friendly competition. But when she finds Doris Gleason dead in her own cookbook store, filled with a kitchen knife, the atmosphere seems more cutthroat than cordial. I love this series. I love it to death. And this will appear in my bookstore series next week. And this one, I really got into the series, learning sign language, helping people. And if you haven't watched all 20-something videos, go watch them all. Make sure you include at the end the Mrs. Ellsworth quotes. I love Mrs. Ellsworth. Sarah Brandt is a midwife when the series starts. She is estranged from her parents when the series starts. They slowly mend those fences as things go along, as they solve the issues of what happened to cause the estrangement. And she meets Frank Malloy. He's the detective with the New York City Police Department, and they end up working together throughout the rest of the series to solve crimes. And they get in other people and other partners, but in the beginning it's Sarah and Frank. After a routine delivery, Sarah visits her patient in a rooming house and discovers that another boarder, a young girl, has been killed. At the request of Sergeant Frank Malloy, she searches the girl's room. She discovers that the victim is from one of the most prominent families in New York and the sister of an old friend. The powerful family, fearful of scandal, refused to permit an investigation, but with Malloy's help, Sarah begins a dangerous quest to bring the killer to justice before death claims another victim. I love that series. So how was my amateur sleuth working with a cop workout? Okay? That wasn't too bad. We'll see what happens next week. And don't forget to check out all the other if-thens. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. Oh, and there's Voyager out there too, you know. You can go and watch those old Flashback Monday episodes too. Have a good one.